everybody out there in the world of YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, stopping by, and checking out my channel. Been a while, but I'm back. My name is Jacqueline Anderson, and I have a distinguished guest. You know, that means she is a CPA, certified public accountant. Miss Brittany Brown is here with me today. I just got acquainted with her. She has a phenomenal story that you will hear about in just a few minutes, but please welcome and Miss Brittany Brown and say hello. Introduce yourself.
Hello, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for having me on. Hello, everyone. I am Brittany Brown. I am a CPA, and I've had my license for about almost 4 years now.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fairly new, but maybe a veteran, depending on your area expertise.
Right, a little bit. I've been in the industry for almost 7 years now, so it feels like a little bit like a veteran.
Okay, well, let's dive into it. So, what area or what state are you licensed in?
I'm licensed in Virginia and North Carolina, but I'm currently practicing in North Carolina. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, yeah, I just decided just to keep my Virginia license just in case, because you never know what happens. In Virginia and North Carolina, they have about the same rules to get your license. So it was really easy to just get my dual license.
Yeah, okay. Was that just the application process, or was that more money, or did one require ethics and not, or any other section you needed to?
Yeah, so really it was more money, of course, but it wasn't a crazy amount of money. It was just an application. They call it a reciprocal license. So you
Okay.
just fill out an application. I don't remember how much it was. It couldn't have been more than like $120 or so. So yeah, that was it. I just had to send them essentially my same stuff that I did for Virginia, and they got me a reciprocal license, and it was probably over in a couple months. It didn't take long at all either.
Okay, well, let's back up a little bit. We know where you are now, but how did you get there? And I will say, YouTube audience, I became acquainted with Miss Brown because she has a post and a video about how she passed all four parts of the CPA exam without any retakes. So you know that is a big accomplishment. So we want to get into that and get some of her tips and then just celebrate that accomplishment. But backing up, why did you choose accounting? Was that your major in college, accounting?
No, ma'am. When I started, I was a chemistry major,
Okay.
and I changed my major right away. After that first semester, I was like, chemistry is not for me because I wanted to be a doctor of pharmacy at first.
Mhm.
I don't remember why I thought that. I'm assuming I saw their salary and I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Never even been a science fan, but I did that for a semester and then I was like, I like numbers. Let me be a math major. And
Okay.
then I was like, what am I going to do in math? I would have to be a math teacher or something like that. But I didn't want to do that. So my mom's also an accountant. She's a director of accounting in it's like it's a big hospitality firm. So she does private. She doesn't have her CPA license, but she's an accountant. So I kind of knew what it was. And I just did my research as far as, what's the top thing that you can get certified as an accountant and get the most money. So I found out it was getting your CPA license. I took accounting 301, which they always say is like that's how you know if you can do accounting or not. And I failed at first, but I actually took school seriously after that. I wasn't taking school seriously. And then I got, I did well in it. And I was like, oh, wait, I actually get this. I'm like,
All
this is
right.
fun. Like, I actually like doing this. So, yeah, that was all she wrote after that.
So was that probably maybe a second year of college at that point, or right
I had
after?
an No, I had an interesting journey as far as
Okay.
like college goes. I went to Virginia State University, HBCU. I
Okay.
went there for 2 years. That's where I was a chemistry major, math major, just not taking school seriously at that time. And then I went to Southern New Hampshire University, which is like an online school. At least it was for me at that time. And I
Mhm.
only went there for like a year. And then I went to Old Dominion University, which is in Norfolk, Virginia. And I kind of started over, honestly. I
Okay.
just transferred over my general credits, but that's where I started accounting at. So I think I went like my undergrad there was for 3 years. And then I graduated from there and then I got my master's right after that for 1 year. So Yeah. I mean, technically, it was like my freshman year at ODU is when I took that. So, yeah, my college experience was long.
Okay, I think a lot of us kind of start and regroup and start
Mhm.
again. So after talking to your mother or family, that's when you decide, okay, maybe I'll try the accounting route and then see where that takes me. Or did you know at that point, after you had done the research, I'm going to go for the CPA?
Yeah, I think after I like actually got into accounting, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. I understand this." Then I was like, "I want to make as much money as possible, so let me get my CPA license." So yeah, I didn't because my mom didn't get her license, and I don't think she doesn't want to. But I didn't really talk to her about it. I just did my own research and was like, "I think this would be best for me," and I just did it.
Okay, so what is your degree?
Accounting. Yeah, I have a bachelor's in accounting and I also have a master's in accounting too.
Got it. Okay. And how soon after finishing your collegiate studies did you go into studying for the CPA exam?
At the same time. So like my last semester in grad school, I started studying for audit. I don't know
Okay.
why I did. Yeah, I was working like 4 jobs. I was in school full time. And I was like, yeah, let me just try audit. I don't know.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
did you have a plan or were the other classmates or maybe instructors and professors who had given you an outline or did you just take it upon yourself and you say, okay, I'm gonna start this while I'm still in school?
Yeah. I definitely talked to classmates.
Mhm.
Um, I don't even know why I started in school. I think probably from talking to people. I know a couple people that were like in my groups and stuff in my grad studies. Like some had already taken it. I don't know if they were studying while they were in school or not, but I think I really just wanted to get it out the way as soon as possible and just to like see what it was like.
Okay.
And I know I took audit for sure because I had just gotten done with my graduate audit class. So I
Mhm.
was like, I should be able to retain the information. It
Okay.
wasn't the same, but that was my thought process.
So since you were still in school, did you even take it upon yourself to purchase or utilize a prep course?
Yes, I was one of the jobs that I had. I was doing an internship in a public accounting firm, so they offered to pay for my study materials. I used Wiley,
Okay.
but it was going to be like a forgivable loan, and it was kind of like a toxic work environment. So I knew I wasn't going to want to be there long. So I was like, I'll just pay for it myself. So I just paid for it myself.
Okay. Is that what your firm sponsored or offered, or did you choose Wiley on your own versus some of the other study materials out there?
Yeah, I chose Wiley on my own. And actually, now that I think about it, you just ask a good question because I think the reason why I took audit at that time was because Becker audit was offered with the class for free.
Okay.
So I think at that point I was probably like, oh, this is free. Like, let me take advantage of it while I can take audit and do it that way. So now I think that's why. But I did my research and because I actually got Becker for free, so I was like, I don't think I like it. So I did my research, saw I would have like really high pass rates or whatever have you, and I just decided on Wiley. I did a couple Roger CPA. I did a couple of his like lectures, and I liked his lectures, but I'm more of like a study. I learn by writing things down and like reading them and doing that. So like the lectures don't work for me.
Got
So
it. Okay, I'm glad you clarified or went into that a little bit because a lot of people are familiar with Becker and maybe not
mhm.
so much some of the other companies. So I'm glad you mentioned Roger and CPA and Wiley just for people to know their options, or you can pick and choose or have a combination. You just never know.
Abs- yeah, absolutely. I used Ninja as well.
Okay.
Ninja Warrior CPA, yeah, and that's like a monthly subscription. And I literally just used that for extra multiple choice questions when I needed like a refresher right before an exam. Because I didn't want to same reason like I didn't want to be pigeonholed with the study material because you never know what you could be missing.
Right.
So
You want to change it that test bank, but
mhm.
Becker is just so expensive. When some
Yes.
It's good to hear when some of the other options are just as helpful.
Yes, and I think that's another reason why I chose Wiley.
So I think Becker offers a financing plan.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of the others too, but I know that was kind of like this ongoing joke.
Yeah, and it's also at least for me, I found it to be like overwhelming, all the different things that Becker had. It didn't seem like, at least at that point in my study journey, I didn't feel like I had the option to like pick and choose how
Okay.
I wanted to study. But like Wiley, I felt like I could create my own study plan.
Okay, you could customize it. It was
That's how
probably
I felt.
easier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Well, it sounds so. I guess we'll jump into that study plan or any tips because, as I mentioned, audience, she passed each section right out the gate, no retake. So you took audit first, so we know you passed. Did you guys share your score, and did that just give you momentum and just all the push you need to keep going? And what section did you take next?
Yeah. So for audio, I got an 84. And when I got my score, I was like, oh, okay, well maybe I can do this. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. Because after I took it, I was like, I failed. But I honestly think I just was like, I failed because you just have to wait a certain amount of time before you get your score back. So just the anticipation, it's like I know I failed, I know I failed. But once I got it, I was like, oh, okay, no, I can clearly I did something right. So I'm gonna stick to what I did and just like try and refine it a little bit more. So after that, though, I took reg, and actually, reg was my best one. I think I got like a 92 or 94 on reg.
Right.
I was really proud of that because I'm a tax person. So I was like, okay, I'm in the right field. But as far as like study tip that I like to tell people, I found what worked for me. So I know a lot of people use Becker, and I think sometimes people can get stuck in, okay, I'm using Becker. I got to do every single thing that Becker tells me to do for this module or whatever study person you use. You need to make it your own. So I know that I learn and retain information by writing things out. And just taking multiple choice questions. So I learned by writing and by just doing. If you're the type of person who learns by just doing, you need to be taking as many multiple choice questions, task-based simulation questions as you can, and just get that experience from just doing. If you are a audio learner, watch lectures, so whatever, you have to figure out what works best for you retaining information. Because if you don't retain information by, like me, I don't retain information by audio. So me watching a lecture is just wasting my time. It is most likely making me overstudy in a way. Like, I am a big proponent for not overstudying because I feel like one, you're gonna burn yourself out. Two, if you can't retain the information, it's really just a waste of time. It'll really sour your journey because like it won't make your journey enjoyable. So I'm a big proponent of making your journey as enjoyable as you can. Don't study too much, study just enough. All you need is a 75. You don't need a 94. You don't need 100. Just
Coming
get a
from
70.
you, right? Coming from you.
I mean, it worked for me though. It worked for me. I figured out what worked best for me. And then I got those scores. I passed all four because I just wasn't trying to overdo it, honestly. And at a certain point, you will get to that point anyway. So you might as well start there, try and retain information as much as you can, and just go from there. Because I really think that most people can pass the exam. I just think most people aren't studying correctly for themselves, and they probably need to work on their test taking skills too. Because at the end of the day, this is a standardized test, so it's standard. It's not, customized to anybody, and we all learn differently. We all take tests differently. So if you can figure out how to take tests as proficiently as possible and how to study and just get the basic foundations of accounting knowledge, you'll be fine. Like, you really just need the basics of accounting and the different sections, and then you can figure out what the right answer is, or you can at least eliminate two and then you can guess. Like, you don't need to get everything right.
Process of elimination. So once a person can figure out their test taking skill, strategy, or style, how much time did you devote to each section, you think, looking back? Even though I know you said you were juggling several jobs and still in school. So at
Yeah.
what point did you graduate and how many sections did you have once you graduated? As you
Yeah, I had, yeah. I only did that one section like that. So after that, I graduated. After I took audit, I graduated. And I was only, and eventually I would just started working full time at my internship, and it eventually I became a staff accountant there. And at that point, I was just working full time there. I might have had a part time job. I don't know, but I had way more time available, and I definitely wouldn't study more than 2 months.
Okay.
And I was working full time at that time. So what I would do is I would study like Monday through Friday, 2 hours a day after work, maybe an hour during lunch or an hour after. And then maybe like 6 to 8 hours Saturday and Sunday, maybe 4 to 8, depending on how I was feeling. But the weekend is where I got most of my studying in. So yeah, I was definitely no more than 2 months. Definitely probably between like 1 and 2 months, depending on the section. Like FAR was my last one, and I was so over it at that point that I did not, I did not do the 2 months. I don't even know. I don't even know how long I studied for FAR. It was probably like closer to like a month and a half.
It was less. You didn't, okay, it was shorter than 2 months.
Yeah, because I was over it at that point. That was like during COVID too. It was like, yeah, I was just done. I was like, I'm ready to be done with this journey. So I couldn't do it for much longer.
Well, congratulations to you. That is fantastic accomplishment, and then doing it without any retakes. So since you were working already at a firm, did you see an immediate pay increase, title change, promotion? How did that play out in the real world, real time?
Right. Well, kinda. So I've had three public accounting jobs. I started at a very small firm, and I didn't have my license once I left there. So I left there, and then I went to BDO, and I worked at BDO for like a year, and I got my license while I was at BDO. But then I left there, and I went to like my medium-sized public accounting firm that I'm at now. And yes, it was a jump between jobs, and I think that the jump was definitely due to me having my CPA license, that I was able to get such a jump, because I think at that time it was almost like 20,000 of a jump, and that was to a smaller firm too.
Okay. So now that you said you've been in accounting, I think you said 7 years. And what year were you licensed?
2020.
Okay, so then you have 4 years under your belt. So what area of tax do you specialize in? Have you found your niche yet?
I just did. Actually, I literally just told the partners and everything. I was like, I want to specialize in real estate investing because that is a passion of mine. And also, I think it's very good to specialize in that, as we have, especially this area, Raleigh, we have a lot of real estate investing. It's a really hot market for real estate. And yeah, I've been wanting to specialize in something. I just didn't know what I should specialize in, but I'm like, this is a passion of mine and I'm interested in it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Right. Okay. Do you see yourself working in a firm or becoming a partner? Or do you plan to eventually maybe jump ship, start your own thing, or maybe go back into classroom academia?
That's a great question. I'm definitely jumping ship. Okay. I love my job. Like, I work at a very like one of a kind place, in my opinion, especially coming from where I came from, because toxic to the complete opposite of toxic. And but still, yeah, I'm jumping ship because I just can't see myself working for the rest of my life. Like being full-time employed. Like I just don't see that for myself. So I'm definitely gonna be jumping ship at some point. I used to tell myself that I wanted to have my own CPA firm and I wanted to actually specialize, cater to the Black community, minority, small businesses. And I think that I will probably do that on the side in the future. But like helping people is more so my passion. And even just like this, like helping people get through the CPA journey and stuff like that. Like I want to do that as a business. So I've actually decided to do CPA candidate coaching essentially, where I coach people up and coming in the process how to get their license, how to study, what works best for them, motivate them on the journey, all the things. And I also want to partner with CPA firms too and like help them train their new employees. Cause I know my job, we're like smaller. So I think we need to work on like the training aspect of things, especially like people first coming out of college. The transition is it's a big learning curve. It's not like what you learn in school. So I find like employers they don't have the time or don't want to take the time or resources to help people, up and coming actually understand what they're doing and get a grasp of like what a professional environment is like. So that's another part of it that I want to do. So, and also that's part of it. And I'm also going to be a financial literacy coach. So that's another passion of mine too. So those are all the things that I want to do outside of being a CPA. Like I want to keep that. And I still will like do taxes, help people with their books and like stuff like that on the side. But yeah, that's like my passion and what I want to do.
Okay. Sounds like you got a big future, a lot of plans ahead. Long
I do.
But you mentioned about coaching and candidates. So are you seeing up and coming candidates or people coming through? Because if you read any of the journals and articles, they'll say the CPA profession is drying up.
Right, I know. Seriously, yeah. I mean, at my job, we have like some of the people that we have first coming in, some of them don't want to get their CPA license. So they're still in the public accounting industry, but they aren't excited, don't want to do it. It's a process. I get it. But to go far, especially in public accounting, you have to have your CPA license. You can't get promoted. I don't think you can get promoted manager without your CPA license. So it's kind of a necessity. If you do private, it's not really necessary, but yes, they'll definitely scare you saying that we're going to become obsolete because of AI and technology. And then two, nobody's coming into the industry. So eventually public accounting, I don't know, it's just gonna die. But yeah, so I'm definitely seeing that a lot. I don't know. I haven't seen I don't know because I don't go to school anymore. So I don't know what people are like majoring in. I don't know what the classroom looks like nowadays. I just hear what people are saying and it doesn't sound good.
Right, but that leaves the lanes wide open for those who
Absolutely.
decide to venture down this road or those of us who are in the industry. But at the same, it's like who are we training? So that's good to hear that you're training and coaching those who are interested. But we know it is a challenge. So this is a particular mindset that you have to have.
It is. It is. Yep. That's actually the name of my.
Or maybe you want to keep it under wraps for now.
I mean, yeah.
We'll be looking for you. More to come. More to come.
Ooh, yeah, very soon, very soon, very soon. I'll definitely share.
Oh, that is cool. So I'm sure you met other CPAs and Black CPAs since you're in the business, but before becoming a CPA, when or who was the first Black CPA you became acquainted with?
My tax professor, I think. Yeah, she was a Black woman, Dr. Page. She was, yeah, she was probably one of my favorite professors, and she was just a Black woman, no nonsense. We about to learn. Y'all are actually gonna get this material. She had her own CPA firm for a while. She had her master's degree and she was just very intelligent and she was very open with us as far as, what the CPA world, I guess, in the public accounting industry is like. So she was the first person that I ever got exposed to. But after that, yeah, very few and far between.
Yes, ma'am. So what do you think we can do, the few of us who are Black CPAs, what can we do to maybe keep people on track who are working in the accounting, or inspire others to take on the credentials or that pathway to becoming credentialed? What are your thoughts on closing that gap? Because we represent less than 1% of all CPAs.
Dang, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's not even a number. That's why it's not even a number. I think it's about, I think of the 600 and some thousand. Anyway, you do the math, it's like 0.001. So it always comes down to 1%. But you may hear statistics that say 2 to 3%, but I believe that's because they're lumping in non-whites. But when you say Black people, Black CPAs, we are definitely less than 1%.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's less than 5,000. It's approximately 5,000 Black CPAs.
Wow, that is, yeah, no, that is crazy. I didn't know it was that few and far between. Oh my goodness. I think the way for us to combat that is to do one, what you're doing now. Like, I think this is bringing great awareness to, hey, people that look like you do this. YouTube, of course. So, like, just social media in general and just getting the word out. I think also with what I'm planning to do, the coaching, I think that'll help people stay on track. And I also plan to like go into the schools. And I was actually thinking about doing this from like a financial literacy standpoint, from like volunteering and teaching high school kids, college kids about financial literacy. But now I'm thinking about it, like also the CPA thing. Like I could go, me, other Black CPAs, we can go to the schools, we can go to high school, because that transition from high school to college where you don't know what you want to do, you need people to talk to you. So you have an idea of what the world is like outside of school, because you're gonna go to college and most likely you're gonna get caught up in the collegeness of it. If you don't have a plan, you're like, okay, so I actually am interested in this. Let me actually study this. Like this is actual profession. So the studies are going to be a little different than certain other majors. Like you're going to have to actually take it seriously. Right. And I think having somebody talk to you early on, that would help me a lot. So I think that would be helpful, getting these kids like high school, early college, and just showing them like, hey, I'm a CPA. I did it. You can do it too. Showing them the process. As far as, I feel like that's a great way. Definitely going to the schools, volunteering, getting in your community, just talking about it like this. I think that is a great start to just get it out there and so people can see. I think academia is the first place that they're going to see it. So,
gotcha. Okay, well, as we wrap up, I always end with this question across all my interviews. So this will be no different. So I'm going to ask you, because it was a phenomenal accomplishment. So what does it mean to have CPA behind your name, Brittany Brown, comma, CPA, certified public accountant? What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I will say, like, the word that comes to mind is just like resiliency, because I mean, I've told you a lot of my story, and whenever I say that I'm a CPA, I say Brittany Brown CPA. My YouTube name is Brittany Janae CPA. It's a part of me to a certain extent, and I just feel like it shows my resilience and how hard I work to get those 3 letters. Like I put in a lot of work, just like you did, and it means a lot to me. And I feel like it's a huge part of who I am. And I'm very proud to have those letters behind my name because I worked for it.
You did. And I will say, fantastic accomplishment. And I got this cowbell here. I don't think I ever used it online, but I think this was perfect for someone who passed all 4 sections right out the gate, no retakes. That is so cool. So it's so great to have sat with you and heard about your phenomenal background and how you just getting started and what you plan to do and translate that skill set and transfer that knowledge. So that's what a CPA does. Well-rounded and ready to help the next generation and pass along what you've learned. So everybody, well, thanks for tuning in, checking out this particular interview. So hopefully I'll be back soon with another one. So if you know somebody, let me know, reach out, but don't ever forget, remember who you are and whose you are, and there's no time like the present. Check it next time.